Welcome to RX1 Nation live with Claxton and Corbet. Seb, we're coming off another big race week. This was really hot.
It was country, it was western, it was hot,
It
hot,
was
hot.
hot. Like you got your Texas country and western.
Oh yeah. I think we
But
got that. Someone told me we had at one point temps ressentis around the 30 mark.
yeah,
Uh
like on my phone it was saying 28 degrees was about
28
race.
degrees, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
it was funny
crazy.
because the last one I did, I was wearing the dry robe and it was raining and freezing. So it was a big culture shock. But yeah, you asked just how I did just before, and I said about middle of the pack. And I think like everybody, I probably went out a little too hot for the heat. And on that second run back, it just caught up with me. And then when I hit that sled, it was just murder. Like just brutal. And we were talking, Ryan and I were talking, and the one thing RX1 always seems the sleds are always way heavier than you expect.
But it's not even that we plan it. It's depending on the ground. Like we're supposed to do on the grass, it didn't work out with the layout, so we ended up going in gravel. The thing with gravel is the more you go on the gravel, it doesn't get easier, it gets harder because
Yeah.
first you have it like a hard surface, like a tap gravel. By the time you guys get there in the afternoon, it's no more tap gravel, so that thing digs in the ground.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was. Like I got there and I'm like, oh, I could see the guy in front of me. I'm like, okay, cool. I know he's a better runner than me and I can make some ground there. And I might have made a little ground, but it wasn't near what I had thought I was gonna do. And then
That's why, like, when you practice sled, it's a good thing you call it, but always make it harder. Whoever gym trainer is listening to us right now, make it harder than you think it should be. But like here we did one, we practiced, but we didn't go that heavy. It was heavy, but we didn't go that heavy, but we went long. It was
yeah.
like through 250-meter drag, so they weren't that surprised when they got there because they felt like it was shorter, harder, yes, but shorter in distance, so it was encouraging for them.
Yeah, I think for me, because I train in my home and my essentially gym room is like I can do a 5 meter sled in it. Then I got to go back and forth. So I think what I need to do next time I do a sled is break it up just like I do at home and just do 5 meter stop for 3 seconds, 5 meters
Yeah.
stop for 3 seconds, and just do that. Because I think I went like about 30, 40 meters on my first pull and then just dropped off. It hit hard.
Yeah, but you mentioned it good too. Like the whoever did good last weekend didn't get themselves caught with going fast on the wheelbarrow and going fast on the first two kilometers.
Yeah.
Whoever were able to manage these first two exercises, then could kind of get some speed on that second to the second 2 kilometers and get not fresh in the rep zone, but not totally exhausted in it.
Yeah, because it seemed like the key to most of the rep zone really wasn't like doing um fast repetitions or doing a high cadence of reps. It was just mitigating those breaks.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
just mitigating the breaks and taking advantage of a fast transition from your barbell back to the rig,
That's
which
it.
I did
You
not.
think about it was 100 meters going around it.
Yeah,
So had that 6 time, there's an extra 600-meter that you had to either walk or run. So whoever walked it,
mhm.
walked 600 meters.
Yeah,
Whoever ran it, ran 600 meters. There's a good gap of about a minute and a half, up to 2 minutes in that span of time.
yeah. It's all those little things. They just add up, just mitigating the loss. And that's why I keep thinking and I keep trying to do my help in my head because I've been doing some other things that are much higher pace, but not as long and brutal. And it's getting that brain, that mindset of let's just mitigate, just slow everything down and just mitigate rest, take advantage of transitions everywhere. So it's getting there. We'll get it.
And it's a thing about the sports that I'm starting to really love watching and listening and coaching as well, obviously, because I'm a coach. But it's that science a bit behind how to properly, like Marjorie Lessard, the boss,
Yeah.
like a pro woman, she has it down to the T, like perfectly down to the T of where pushing, where not to push, at which pace to do it. And every little second, do I get water? Do I not get water? Do I walk there? Do I run there? Like
Yeah.
there's when you had it up over 40 to 55 minutes, there's a huge gap of minutes that can go from the person at time to a bit like F1. You
Yeah.
got to take that curve just perfectly at the right speed. And every little millisecond over all the race, makes up minutes. It's the same thing. And it's fun to start thinking more and more of strategies. Clients didn't used to ask me strategies. They used to ask me, I have a good cardio, I have good endurance, but now we talk strategies. And
Yeah.
it's fun. Like they hire me an hour to let's make the plan for this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was me. Like I
But
ran that first 2K, I ran at what I would run a 2K at on a cool day. And it hit hard. By the time I got halfway back on the second one, running a similar pace, all of a sudden it just dropped off. But hey, that's what it's for, to get beat down, to learn, to move
yeah,
on.
exactly,
Um,
100%.
let's before we talk about more, let's hit with the podiums and my dramatic reading of podiums with hoping to get people's names right. All right. For the women pro in third place, we had Cynthia Dion. In
Yep,
second place, Emily Moreau.
yep.
And in first place, Marjorie Lassard, who has
Yep.
just been dominant again.
Yeah, that's the repeat of Trois-Rivières. In Trois-Rivières, we had the same exact podium. The person that impresses me the most in that top three is Cynthia Dion. Um, it's the first time that she's able to really stamp herself, as a legit woman that could start challenging the Evelyn Lépine, Emily Moreau now of this year, and Marjorie. She's really, really climbing the chart and learning over years of experience with us. She's starting to understand our sport and what it needs to succeed in it and how to plan the race. So she's the girl I'm very, very, very impressed by so far. Her consistency, 2 races in a row, and she didn't get in the rep zone in that third place. I believe she was fifth in that rep zone when she got in, and she just kept her cool in her pace, and she got a nice bronze medal that they well deserved.
Nice. And then for your men, you got in third place, Kevin Goslin. In second, Yaroslav Tuskanov.
I don't know. The first
We're
time I
going to
know
be
this
close,
guy.
hopefully.
First time I see him.
And first place, S. Darjardin Labelle.
Samuel Labelle, Desjardins Labelle. So what happened here? Kevin Gosselin, who was the champ of last year, the 2023 champ. I put him in the wave right away. He hadn't raced a race yet this year, but being the champ, I put him with the top 10. Because we always do. I don't know if you mentioned that before, but we will always do our waves based on the rank
Yeah.
so far in the season. Since Montreal West hadn't raced, he didn't have points, so he was in the top 10. But because of his past, I always go with who I think, even someone comes in, let's say John Cross didn't run a race this year. If he comes in, he's right away in wave one,
Yeah.
because I know his talent. I know he can compete with this guy. So Kevin Gosselin was in wave one, anyways, even if he didn't have points. But the other two guys, they're there, 1 and 2. I didn't know the names, never saw the guy, never heard of them. So I put them in second wave. So when Kevin Gosselin was kind of way ahead in the first place in his wave, I saw him really like kind of chill down and really keep it cool. And he had the same thought as me. Sebastian put the best in weight number one. If I'm number
Yep.
one, I'll be number one. It didn't happen that way. He got passed by two guys, the two guys you just mentioned. And it's funny because one of the two, the first one, Samuel, didn't have a team. Just kind of show up, did the race. I don't know who picked him up, but another team picked him up that day up. And so now he's part of a team, and I'll let you know once I know the news which team that he's in. But two surprise there that we didn't expect. So I cannot really comment on them because I didn't see them. I didn't comment them. I didn't see them. No idea how good why they did so good, basically.
You know what? But that's good though, like because you get some, more talent. More talent out there
Of
is great.
course.
I had that happen to me at the finals last year. I was in control of my wave. I won my wave at the final, and I backed off and just mitigated gap. And then Frederick was in the wave after me, and he kind of knew my time, and he just nicked me. Just nicked me. I was like, oh, dang. What happens, right? You got to. That's what you
Yeah.
don't take your foot off the gas. You do.
But
You do.
that's another thing that we're talking. I guess that's the topic of today is that experience is you got to learn from that. Even if you're alone in your wave, find someone, even if it's an intermediate or an expert,
Mhm.
whoever, it's another category. I'm going to go get you. And then once you get that person, I'm going to go get the other one. Even if they're not even competing against you, but just to keep constantly a carrot that you're trying to run through and try to eat.
Yeah, just keep passing people.
You have to keep like the pedal and keep going.
All right. So who was the big team on the day? Do we go with
Well, okay, now now we have to say, listen, Luzin Terrebonne came in the field with Gatineau and Montreal. Like everybody was there, the big teams were there, and they just killed it again. Like that team is coming out of nowhere. Like they were there last year, but so small, like didn't make any noise, nothing. Now they're big. And only that, they have a guy called, I believe, Michel Jean, who went to the CrossFit Games in the past. I believe he went to CrossFit Games, not open, but the juniors.
Okay.
I'll learn more about that. So I'll have, you can take some notes. I have to talk to you about machine that Samuel is going in. And Michel Jean, I believe his name is. They're in the recruit signed out. They told me that there's good the odds that's going to be participating. So they have a big core of very good athletes in the gym. And my understanding is everybody's really loving that approach, that RX1 approach. Everybody's getting on board and they're doing a lot of cardio class, engineering class, trying to get prepared. So they're the topic of I mean, as much as we talk about the squat team chaos at the beginning of the year, right now it's all eyes on the Luzin Terrebonne. I mean, everybody's scared of that team. Not only that, their fan base is amazing. They're
That,
loud. We hear them. They follow every athlete. I mean, it's a scary team right now.
that's awesome. So we got the top 10 rankings here up to date.
Yep. So
And
Squat Team Chaos obviously staying there. They're at the top of the point leading since the beginning. They've now competed against every single team, and yet they're still on top. So obviously they're still number one. Luzin Terrebonne had made it a +8 jump the last time we talked, me and you, Dave.
and
Another +1 now. So we're talking about Squat Team Chaos, Make Up Training, the Costo, GS Training, Bullet Fitness. Those are all team that's been with us forever. And then Luzin Terrebonne, just brand new, man, puts itself right in there. So well deserved. Make Up Training, I mean, it's always a scary team. They did great. Le Costo, that was their first race. So when you look at the top 5 year, Le Costo is the only team there that was at their first race. Okay. They did really good, like we expected them to do. So my feeling is Le Costo might climb up maybe another rank in 2 weeks from now. GS Training is always right there, either the best of the second cup or could make that first cup. If they find a pro or two, they could be one of the
Mhm.
best team in the league. They're there. And Bullet Fitness so far only has one race for the region of Quebec. They did really good at the race number 1 in Port-Neuf next week. They're the main team. I mean, we don't have many teams from outside going, so a lot of points are going to Bullet Fitness. Same thing for X Crew Ajikin. So these two teams will be most probably climbing up the power ranking because they'll be almost the only one with the team of Quebec competing in next week. And they never won. Bullet Fitness, I mean, never won the cup. Quebec never won a cup. So Gatineau never won a cup. So this year, I mean, we have, if you look at the power ranking, actually, Squat Team Chaos, region of Gatineau, never won a cup. Luzin Terrebonne, the region of Montreal East, never won a cup in 3 years. Make Up Training, they won a cup. That was the last 2 years. It's been in the Montérégie S area. Les Coastal Montreal area won often. But Quebec and Bullet Fitness never won. So 3 regions right now that never won the big nation cup. And they're part of the top 5. So it's looking exciting for the rest of the season.
Nice. That looks awesome. So something actually about points I wanted to ask you. Okay. And just to clarify, because a couple of people actually on my team have asked, and some other people I've seen talking about it. So for the
But
individuals this year,
yeah,
and correct me if I'm wrong, it's no longer where you get your 3 races in your division. So for example, I at a Gatineau, so it's not just the 3 races at a Gatineau, but it is your best 3 races now count as your points. Is
that's
that the way it works?
yeah, you got it. Yeah, we're trying to simplify first the understanding of the concept because that was one, let's say, fences that we're hitting as people like they were getting in the website or calling us, and the number of rules that we had were so wide that it was tough for people to understand the concept. So we're moving forward, trying to simplify the whole thing. So now this season, we are taking your 3 best race of your year. That's your points for your season. And we're going to crown a season champion for every category, second and third place, not by region, overall. So let's say someone let's say you, Dave, okay, you're fourth place. You're missing a point to make that podium. There's one race left. It's the one in Saint Paul. And you're like, you know what? I need that podium. I want that podium for the season. So you can show up there in Saint Paul and try to make up more points than you did. Let's say you're worse. What did you finish last
I
week?
think it was seventh, I think this time.
7. So let's say you're like, I'm missing a point. So I got to have a 6th place finish or better to climb up. Then you could show up to St. Paul and make that. So first, if you look at it business wise, for us, it's good, like doing it that way. It creates more sales. And we saw it already. I mean, people are traveling. They weren't traveling before, and now they're traveling. Um, Two, it's less complicated, less medals, because when we were at the last race of every city, the medal podium was taking forever. It was like an hour and a half to 2 hours. We wanted to reduce that time too. So a lot of reasons why we did that. And also team wise, we're seeing so far more teams traveling for a reason. Is the same reason is, let's say, to climb up in that top five to go for the Grand Nation Cup. OFX is missing 5 points. You know what, guys? Let's
Yeah.
drive to Saint Paul, 2, 3, 4 of us. Let's try to go make the points that we're lacking to make that top five.
Yeah. Yeah.
So far, the feedback we're getting is really good. We like it as far as our head office. We really like the way that that's going so far this year. So hope you guys enjoy it as well.
We are actually going to have OFX couple of people at one for sure, maybe two at Polneuf at the next
Oh, yeah,
race.
okay, cool. That's
So there you
nice.
go. That's
I'm
a
gonna
little
try for you guys there.
yeah. These are some of our people right from Toronto, so it's a little less for them, but it's
You gonna
still
see John Cross there, or
no. I think this will be Robbie and Hannah, I believe. So
okay?
they were both at the first race, and Hannah actually won her division in that race. I believe
Oh,
Robbie
nice.
was the fifth. He kind of died out on the wall walks, but yeah, those were both their first races. So they've got an idea. They're both going to be pretty
Very
good. I
nice.
think we actually picked up one or two more people as well. So
That girl that was the one in intermediate, right?
which one?
The girl you're talking about, didn't she? Was she
Yeah,
intermediate and she
Hannah.
was first,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was kind of way back. Like I didn't comment her. I didn't see her. I thought she was in another wave.
No,
And
she.
that's how I kept commenting the four girls on the batter, and she was alone in the back. I think she was happy about that, but
Yeah,
she ended up passing everyone.
and she's strong, right? So she took it easy. She played her game. She took it easy on the
Oh, she
run and
did
then just
good.
used her power. So it was good for her. Speaking of what kind of battles did we have this week? I actually saw one right in front of me. So I mean, I'll
Go ahead,
mention
tell me
that
which
in
one did you
the
see? Because
expert
there was
45 to
good one.
54. Benoit Cote and Philippe Cloutier,
I
they were
was
back and forth.
I was just going to talk to you about that.
Yeah, what I think it was 20 seconds between them, something like that.
I mean, these guys are crazy. They're gym partners, first of
Mhm.
all. Okay, they don't compete in the same team. One is L'Escadron, the other one is Interban. But they're buddies. They're training buddies. And so race one, Ben Cote won, Philippe Cloutier second. We go to Trois-Rivières, Philippe Cloutier won, Ben Cote second. So that was 1-1, and they get third race, and now Ben Cote beat Philippe Cloutier. So now it's 2-1 for Ben Cote. I mean, they're fun to watch. They're good athletes. They give us a show every single time.
Oh yeah, yeah, and they're solid runners because that's what I know in the beginning. They take off pretty good on the run, so they're not just on the weights. They're good solid runners. Um, Performance of the day. Anybody stick out to you?
Well, first of all, I want to talk to you about another battle
Oh, okay, fire
that
away.
was very happy. I keep talking to you always about that intermediate 55 plus because I mean it
Yeah.
really, really is amazing, that division. And so we had a guy named Guy Lessard, which is the son of Marjorie Lessard, the father, sorry, the
Yeah.
father of Marjorie Lessard. And the guy started out, I believe he did his first race 2 years ago, just one race, and then last year he did his full season. And he's one of the toughest guys to beat. The guy's a farmer. He built
Mm.
on a farm, was on farm all his land. I mean, he's a real tough guy. I mean, he's small, like he doesn't look tough when you look at it, but you see him like he's iron like. And one of the plan here, I trained Martin Lauzon here, and we have Guy Lessard in our head all the time. If Jean Follem is not there, then it's Guy Lessard, Guy Lessard, Guy Lessard. And one of the problem with Martin Lauzon is the guy get distracted easily. I mean, he lost the podium last year at the final because he was complaining at the referees, for the thinking that the guy was not refereeing well next to him, so lost his
Mhm.
podium with that. I mean, and then and Gatineau, the guy was leading easily. Sylvain Hamel was just behind, started to talk with girls in the stand, like it really the turtle and the how do you call that? The rabbit and the turtle. I
Rabbit,
think
turtle in the hair. Yeah.
exactly that same story. So I sat down with Martin. I said, and this guy is like one of my top 5 best friend ever. And I said to him, I said, buddy, you got to start just being in the zone. You'll win every single race. You got everything it takes. So he gets in the rep zone and he's number 2. And the guy, Michelino, way first. So I go to his wife and I says, Marie, I said, you got to tell your husband just to cool down, stay focused, because I'm commenting, I'm not the
Yeah.
coach
Yeah.
anymore. I'm the commentator. And she says, okay, no problem. And then as he finishes his first round, Michelino started to feel sick. He pushed too hard, got too fast in the red zone. And then the sun just hit. Plus, he was sick, he said, during the week. It got to him, a DNF. So then all of a sudden, Lauzon's number one, right? But Guy Lessard, the father of Marjorie, is just with him, like not 5 reps behind. They're together. So I'm going back and forth between the two. And then at one point, when you had finished, you were doing 6, and then 5, and then 4.
Yep.
When the 4 finished, I saw Martin started to run, instead of walking. And you saw Guy Lessard's leg, like just couple. When you saw it, I still remember seeing him looking on the right and saw Martin running, and then it cut his leg right away. And then they end up 2-minute difference. So imagine we're finishing 4, and the ending is 2-minute difference. That's how much psychology, like
Oh,
Guy Lessard was killed by seeing the other one. How the hell is he running? I'm dying here. It's hot, and the guy is running. But he stayed focused and won the race. And that was just a beautiful, beautiful fight. And I don't know if you saw this week, we're making quotes every week.
mhm.
And so Marjorie and his father, the father asked Marjorie, he says, are you going to Portneuf next weekend? And she goes, well, I don't know yet. We didn't really talk about it. And then he goes to his daughter. He goes, now that I'm a superstar and I have a lot of friends, you don't need to come. I can go on my own. I really like that. That was cute. That's really like in a nutshell what RX1 Nation is.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I wanted to shout out somebody who I thought
But
was just amazing, who blew me away, and was Ingrid Fulham,
what a
who I'm
fighter.
watching doing the muscle ups,
What a fighter.
and just battle, battle. Like never, I'm sure it was in her head, but she never showed
Yeah.
thought of I'm going to quit. I'm not going to make it. She just battled and battled, and she would take so much time and then have a no rep, and then just get back at it and just try again and again and again. And I was just, I mean, I love seeing that fight.
I
That is
mean, it's
all the way.
she's a woman that since I met her for the first time in Get Snow, that's been like I'm never thinking I hear that she's going to be doing something. Like I heard that she wanted to be an expert. I said,
Mhm.
why is she going expert? Like she's not ready to go expert. She goes expert, she kills it. Okay. Now I hear she want to go pro. Like you just give birth to a baby not too long ago. Why are you going pro? Goes pro, cannot do muscle up. She doesn't care. She's there, battling, doesn't
Figure
do
it
muscle
out.
up, doesn't do muscle up, doesn't do muscle up. And then this year she comes back pro again. Now she's doing muscle up. Now she's doing all the I'd say that the time caps. Every
Yep.
single time cap she makes them. Like it's she's a fighter. I mean, is it? I 100% of her life, that's what it's been her life. Like she's a fighter, and when she puts the goals in her head, she just get through it. So that's very good that you mentioned that, Dave.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, right? I've never seen this woman before. I've never noticed her or took notice before, and just seeing her one time, and you can just see this is what she is.
Yeah,
She's just
and she's the
there's no,
oldest pro.
yeah.
She's the oldest pro by at least 10 years, like to the next one after, at least.
See, she's my role model for next year. I'm
Very good one,
facing
Dave.
facing
Very.
that way. All right. So like I said, next week, Neuf.
Yeah, Portneuf, not the sorry for the city of Portneuf, but not the sexiest necessarily place. The ville of Portneuf is beautiful, but where we're at, not the sexiest place. But we have quite a bit of new things that are coming in to kind of it's gonna blow you away, like in the run it's a 4 kilometer run. That I can tell you that right away. I mean that you'll see on the video, but it's right off the bat, 4 kilometers. So Quebec, reason we allow more runs when we go to Quebec, a lot of runners in Quebec. They have a good base of runners. Most of them like to run.
Hmm.
So we have their 2 longest races are there, the 4 kilometers in Portneuf and the 5 kilometers in Ile d'Orléans. Those 2 longest one. For some of our listeners, it seems short, but for our kind of clients, that's pretty long. But we'll be right up the bat. You go right at it, 4 kilometers, and then you hit the transport zone and the rep zone. So interesting race that will be.
Awesome, awesome. And I don't, like I said, I've never been there and won't be there for this one, but I did notice there seems to be what looks like a really good pizzeria there. So I mean, they could
Oh yeah.
celebrate good celebratory pizza afterwards.
Well, what's the name of that?
I don't know. I just saw it
Oh,
on
we're gonna
Google.
get a sponsor
I'll
company.
send you a link, man. I just saw
Oh
it on
yeah.
Google. I was like, oh, it looks like Good little pizzeria. I'm all
I'll
about
find
the
that out.
post-race
Write to
celebration.
me. I'll try to get a sponsor from it.
Awesome, man. All right. You got anything else or we're ready to
No,
go?
just thank you, the nation, for last weekend. I mean, it was, it's as an entrepreneur in events, it's up and down emotions. Like we get rains, we get cold, we're a bit down, because things didn't go as well as we planned, and the whole year is always thinking in it. But when they get to an event like last Saturday, it just like you're in the clouds. Like the events was perfect. It was literally perfect. The referees did great. The Beneval did great. The teams were amazing. Everybody had so much fun. The weather was there. 505, almost a record for years. So thank you, the nation. I mean, it's the reason we do it more than the dollars. It's when we get out of a day like that, we're just it's like, okay, when are we doing it next? Like it'd be tomorrow. So great it is.
And you know what? I actually you mentioned something, so I do want to add on to that. And I talked about it on our regular OFX podcast that the refereeing and the judging this year has been just above board. It's been unbelievable. I had a great referee in the race one, and I had another great referee this time. And it's fantastic to see. And I'm a critic. I'm a critic of refereeing. I pay attention to judging. A critic, yeah. And I really focus on it. And not only am I seeing that personally, I'm getting good judging, but I'm seeing a lot better consistency from judge to judge to judge. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure why. I don't know, but I do know that it is definitely noticeable that the consistency from judge to judge to judge has been fantastic.
Well, it's because of guys like you that's happening. When you guys share your experience, like I'm taking notes. I just don't
Mhm.
listen to you guys, but I'm taking notes. I had Talia this week, a client here that runs interior that was frustrated about a few things that happened. And she didn't want to just tell me. And she did tell me, and then right away I talked to Albert, I talked to Alana, our judge in chief, and we're going to correct that, like first of all, having the names of the free that did a lesser job. Okay, perfect. We're taking down. Doesn't mean that she's a bad referee. She might have had a bad day,
Yeah.
or she didn't maybe understand a certain thing. But the feedback is always very important, and the feedback that is taking a call. I say I want to talk to you. Here's what happens. Our messenger, hey Seb, here is what happened. Nicely, kindly said.
Yeah.
For us, I mean, why would I not take that as good information? We want to have the best referees that are there. We want to build that. And the more we do it, the more legitimacy that we're gaining as a company. And I like what you just said, because that's the part I'm the proudest of this year of our of the whole group of referees, and the consistency.
Yeah.
So at least if something goes wrong, it seems to be all the referees that kind of does it like on the border. If it's all go well, then it's a consistency. And
Yeah.
that's what I like to see. So I really appreciate that comment.
Yeah, yeah, because as a racer, all you want is you want the person beside you being judged the exact same way you are. And that's it. That's all you want is you want that consistency. And this year, from what I've seen, they've been hitting it really well. I'm sure there's mistakes here and there,
And
right?
I know the hardest thing we need to work on, and I got to keep repeating it, and we need to do it. They do it greatly at CrossFit. Is if there is no rep, that the sign, like a sign, something
Yeah,
that the crowd understands that the referee didn't let that one go.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because sometimes you might think, how come she's letting this go? How come she's not letting go? She keeps saying two and two and two in her head.
Hmm.
But for the interactive with the public, we need to have a referee's really saying no rep or yelling it loud. Doesn't matter. Laying out or two, two, two. At
Yeah,
least crowd close to it understands. Or if someone's filming and you're looking at the video, well, look at those no reps. Yeah, but you're not hearing anything.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
the referee's saying something, or you're not seeing the referee doing that. So the more vocals and image that we have as far as the no reps, the more the public will understand that, okay, what's actually going on, and that the referee is calling in a rep, because there's a shitload of no reps calling.
yeah.
My son is 13, refereeing, and he tells me that it's like, I must have been at over 30 no reps on
Wow.
dropping a bar from an inch from the ground.
Mm.
But he's 13 years old and he's consistent in what he does. And but that's what I tell him. I said, you got to show it. You got to yell it loud. Call no rep loud, like anything, so that the crowd understand
Yeah,
that you.
absolutely. I got one no rep. My judge looked upset to give it to me, and I told her, no, you made the absolutely no rep, and I deserved it. So,
You know what, Dave? That's another point to finish on this. If you ever been a ref, be a ref at least once. Like whoever's listening right now, be a rep, you'll see how hard it is to give a no rep to someone that has a hard time doing the exercise.
Yeah.
You know, when it's 5 no reps in a row and she can't break the parallel, come and tell me you'll tell her the 6th time again. You
Hmm.
know, you got to tell the 7th time. It breaks your heart completely. You
Yeah.
know, there's emotions involved in that. And yes, we have to take away the emotions because that person could be DNF instead of me making points. But come try it once and you'll see how hard that job is. It's not an easy job.
That's right. If you don't do it, you can't bitch.
Yeah. Hey,
Thanks
that
so
was
much,
fun,
Dave.
Dave. That was really fun.
All right. Take care,
Cool.
everybody.
Take care, nation.